After making the nation proud in the Caribbean and lifting the T20 World Cup trophy for a second time, Team India has returned home to a grand welcome from all. After being stuck in Barbados since winning the T20 World Cup, courtesy to Hurricane Beryl, Team India finally landed in New Delhi this morning. Hundreds of fans holding placards congratulating their favorite players and waving the national flag braved a drizzle to line up outside of the IGI Airport to welcome the players. The love for cricket, the players and the Indian team is very deep and huge for the fans to not miss a chance to catch a glimpse, even if there is rain and overcast weather in the capital city. Prime Minister Modi is set to meet the Indian players and congratulate them for winning the World Cup, while there is also a felicitation ceremony that has been organized. Beyond this, the World Cup champions are also set to lead a victory lap in Mumbai from 5 p.m. this evening. Rohit Sharma and team urge fans to join them in celebrating the special win at Marine Drive and Wankhede Stadium. Team India will take part in a roadshow from Nariman Point to the Wankhede Stadium, where the BCCI will hand them over a cheque of 125 crore rupees as a token of appreciation for their wonderful display. Now, Rahul Gandhi lambasts at the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, claiming that compensation has not been paid to the martyr Agniveer's family. The army refutes this, saying that over 98 lakhs has already been paid out of the total of 1.6 crores, which is promised. The Central Bureau of Investigation has made a new arrest in the ongoing NEET case. The arrested individual has been identified as Aman Singh, who is believed to be a conspirator, according to sources. This marks the 7th arrest in the Bihar NEET module, as confirmed by sources. In a major update in Apple supplier Foxconn's iPhone factory case in Chennai, the Regional Labour Commission had filed a report in the Central Labour Ministry, giving a clean sheet to Foxconn, a case in which they were accused of unethical recruitment practices against married women. The commissioner said that no single shred of evidence was found against the factory administration, company directors, and the human resources. As per the commissioner's report, 21 married women were investigated in the alleged discrimination case. The death toll in the stampede at a satsang in Uttar Pradesh's Hathras has gone up to 123. Bhole Baba, who addressed the event and has been missing since the mishap took place, has issued a statement through his lawyer, condoling the lives that have been lost. However, the self-proclaimed godman, who has surprisingly not been named in the FIR, has said that the stampede was caused by some anti-social elements. A manhunt has been launched to catch the Baba, who is not to be found either at his ashrams or at his residence. As far as the probe is concerned, the FIR claims permission was sought for 80,000 people. However, approximately 2.5 lakh devotees attended the satsang. And now for some international news. Voting is set to get underway in the United Kingdom. Britons are set to vote for all 650 seats in the lower house of Parliament in a big test for the incumbent UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. The UK Labour Party leader Keir Starmer has urged voters to get out and vote during the last day of campaigning as the UK goes to polls, in which his party is projected to win by a landslide. Despite a double-digit lead in the polls, Labour has consistently warned against taking the election result for granted, imploring supporters not to grow complacent. United States President Joe Biden's disastrous debate performance has reverberated across the Democratic Party, forcing lawmakers to grapple with the crisis that could upend the presidential election. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi stated that she believes it is a legitimate question whether the President Joe Biden's halting performance in last week's debate with the former President Donald Trump is just an episode or a condition. The United States will soon announce more than $2.3 billion in new security assistance for Ukraine, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said during his meeting with his Ukrainian counterpart, Rustem Umerov, at the Pentagon. Austin said that the latest weapons package would include arms such as anti-tank weapons and air defense interceptors and would allow accelerated procurement of NASAMS and Patriot air defense interceptors as well. A Russian glide bomb struck a residential building in Ukraine's Kharkiv region in Raska-Lozova, injuring at least 2 people. Others could be trapped under the rubble as well, and the state emergency service shared a video showing emergency workers at the site cleaning debris. The war, now in its 3rd year since Russia invaded its neighbor, has killed more than 10,000 civilians and wounded around 20,000 others. Russian President Vladimir Putin stressed the positive development of Russia-Turkey relations at a summit meeting. Speaking at a session of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in Astana along his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Putin said relations were developing progressively and stressed that the countries work actively in international policy. Established in 2001 by China and Russia to discuss security concerns in Central Asia and the wider region, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization is supposed to serve as a counterweight to Western alliances. China has insisted that it stands on the side of peace and dialogue on the Ukraine issue after Finnish President Alexander Stubb questioned China's role in Russia's invasion. During a media interview, Stubb said that Russia has become very dependent on China at the moment, and the Chinese leader would be able to end Russia's military aggression against Ukraine with one phone call if he wanted to. Russian President Vladimir Putin praises relations with Pakistan at his meeting with Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif at a session of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in Astana. Putin noted agriculture and the supply of energy resources to Pakistan as 2 important areas of cooperation for the 2 nations. Russian President Vladimir Putin also met with the presidents of Mongolia and Azerbaijan at a session of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in Astana. Putin lauded good relationships between Russia and Azerbaijan at the meeting. China's President Xi Jinping attends a welcome ceremony in Kazakhstan on Wednesday ahead of a summit for an international group founded to counter Western alliances. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization was established in 2001 by China and Russia to discuss security concerns in Central Asia and the wider region, with a particular focus on cross-border terrorism. Taiwan's Coast Guard urged China to release a Taiwanese fishing boat and its crew detained by China's Coast Guard. Taiwan said that the Chinese Coast Guard boarded a Taiwanese fishing boat before steering it to a port in mainland China. The United States is urging de-escalation as China and the Philippines hold talks to ease mounting tensions following their worst confrontation in the disputed South China Sea that sparked fears of a wider conflict that could involve the United States. There was no mention of any major agreement. However, after the day-long meeting in Manila that could prevent a repeat of the June 17th clash at the second Tomas Sheol, which caused injuries to Filipino Navy personnel and damaged 2 military boats. The health authorities in the Palestinian enclave said in a statement that the Palestinian death toll from the ongoing Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip has risen to 37,925. Additionally, more than 87,100 people had been wounded in the besieged strip since the Palestinian-Israeli conflict broke out in October last year. The Israeli army killed 25 people and wounded 81 others in the last 24 hours. Also, the Israeli Defense Forces issued a statement announcing that Israeli forces conducted a new round of airstrikes in the southern Gaza Strip's Khan Yunis. A senior field commander in Lebanese armed group Hezbollah was killed in the Israeli strike reported earlier outside of the southern Lebanese city of Tyre. Now, earlier, Lebanon's national news agency reported that there were 2 people injured as ambulances attended the scene. A Chinese envoy to the United Nations urged the Security Council to investigate barriers obstructing the effective implementation of Resolution 2720, which called for increased aid to mitigate the humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip, while also calling for an immediate ceasefire. The resolution aims to enhance humanitarian aid efforts in Gaza, addressing the crisis with crucial supplies such as fuel, food, and medical assistance, alongside pressing for an immediate ceasefire. Israel has approved the largest seizure of land in the occupied West Bank in over 3 decades. A settlement tracking group said Wednesday, a move that is likely to worsen already soaring tensions linked to the war in Gaza. Israel's aggressive expansion in the West Bank reflects the settler community's strong influence in the government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the most religious and nationalist in the country's history. Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich, a settler himself, has turbocharged the policy of expansion, seizing new authorities over settlement development and saying he aims to solidify Israel's hold on to the territory and prevent the creation of a Palestinian state. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali said on a record low turnout in the presidential elections didn't mean that non-voters were against the ruling system. More than 60% of voters did not cast their ballot in the race that saw the lowest ever turnout in the Islamic Republic's history. The runoff will be held on Friday to elect a successor to the late President Ebrahim Raisi, who died in a helicopter crash in May. Firefighters were battling wildfires that erupted across northern California, forcing thousands to evacuate as the region smolders under a prolonged heat wave. About 13,000 people were evacuated from the scene. Jamaica's Prime Minister declared the country a 7-day disaster area in preparation for Hurricane Beryl. The Caribbean nation's leader, Andrew Holness, has also announced that he was calling a curfew and an evacuation order for areas at risk. At least 3 people were killed and others remain missing in a town of Venezuela's northeastern coast. Authorities said that search and rescue groups were working in the area where some 25,000 people were affected by heavy rainfall and an overflowing river. The Confederation of Indigenous Nationalities delivered a bill to Ecuador's National Assembly demanding autonomy over their land. They want to be consulted and to give consent before the initiation of any projects such as oil and mineral exploitation on their land. A Colorado man was sentenced to 60 years in prison for starting a house fire that killed 5 members of an extended Senegalese family, a crime which the victims' friends and relatives say has forever changed their lives and their community, both in the United States and in the West African nation. Torrential rainfall has triggered widespread flooding across southern China, prompting urgent rescue and relief operations to mitigate the impact on people. This is what state media CCTV has said. Chonggyang County of Xinjiang City, Hubei Province, saw a 3-hour downpour of 114 millimeters from Monday night to Tuesday morning, the heaviest rainfall since records began. Hundreds of protesters held a rally in Tokyo following the exposure by the Japanese media that a total of 5 sexual violence cases implicating U.S. soldiers in the country have gone unreported since 2023. Japan issued its first new banknotes in 2 decades, yen packed with 3D hologram technology to fight counterfeiting, and Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has praised this as historic, and it is the state-of-the-art anti-counterfeit traits of the new 10,000 yen, 5,000 yen and 1,000 yen bills. Now, while the new bills were released, currency already in use will remain valid. In fact, people will still need older bills to use most vending machines and to pay bus fares, local media reported. The Japanese yen continued to drop further to a 38-year low against the US dollar. The US dollar rose to as high as 161.83 yen in New York, marking the Japanese currency's weakest level since December of 1986. At the same time, the euro reached 173.76 yen, its highest rate against the yen since the European currency was introduced in 1999. China's leading artificial intelligence companies and innovation centers are gearing up for their showcase at the upcoming World Artificial Intelligence Conference 2024. The World Artificial Intelligence Conference and High-Level Forum on Global AI Governance will open in Shanghai on the 4th of July. As an important part of the conference, this year's exhibition section has reached a record scale in terms of size and the number of participating companies. Vanessa Hudgens and Cole Tucker have double the reason to celebrate. The star of High School Musical and her baseball player husband welcomed their first child together. The baby reportedly arrived on Wednesday, making it an extra special birthday for the newly turned 28-year-old Tucker. Vanessa and Cole started dating in 2020 before tying the knot in Mexico in 2023. The recently released dystopian sci-fi epic film Kalki AD is moving at the box office like a raging bull. The movie has surpassed 600 crore rupees at the global box office, and it was the fastest movie to enter 500 crore club and beat the record holder Jawan. Bollywood is currently embracing Halloween with a series of horror comedies releasing later this year. Following the success of Munjia, Aditya Sarpotdar is bringing another spooky, exciting horror comedy starring Sonakshi Sinha, Ritesh Deshmukh and Saqib Salim in lead roles. The trailer hints at a jibe at Stree and Bhole Baba 2. The movie will premiere on the 12th of July.